My name is Bruce Kornfeld. I'm with StoreMagic, and today we're going to be talking about mostly about our storage products. I'll talk a little bit about key management, but we'll be talking about some recent additions to our storage product line around SvSAN, where we've introduced the concept of software RAID inside of the server, targeting edge use cases where some of these edge servers don't have room for a hardware RAID card. So we released that feature. We also have our remote witness now available as a service in the cloud. I'm going to go through that. And I'll also talk about an update to our open KVM support, how we support the KVM hypervisor with the new release as well. So with me today, I've got Dan Blizinski, who's our Senior Storage Product Manager, and he will be doing a live demo of our Witness as a Service. I assume that some of you on the call here, that's one of the reasons that you're here, to see this new product in action. So I'm excited for you to get to see it as well. So between the two of us, I'll go through some slides to go over the product things. Dan will do the demo, and we'll have plenty of time at the end for Q&A. But please don't feel like you have to wait for the end for questions. So please go into the Q&A panel and send us questions along the way, and I'll answer them as we go. But again, we'll have time at the end as well. All right, let's get started. So in case there are some new folks on the call, I'm not going to go through all of the company overview, but I thought I'd do a very brief who is StoreMagic, just so everyone on the call is familiar with who StoreMagic is. So we've been around for over 10 years now, focused on making technology simple for our customers. We started off in the storage space with software-defined storage and hyper-converged, which many of you probably know about. And in the last year, we've also entered the security market with a key management product that I'll talk about here in a second. But everything that we do is focused on enterprise capabilities, and we know that uptime is really important. So 100% uptime, mission-critical environments. Our software is being used by over 1,000 customers around the world, and most of the time it's in environments that absolutely have to stay up and running, whether it's manufacturing or retail or even small businesses, banks. Very, very robust, lightweight, and highly available software. That's what we're all about. We are gaining lots of awareness in the industry. We're on the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the hyper-converged solutions. They give us a lot of credit for delivering a full solution, hardware, software, services for less than $10,000 per site. We get a lot of press coverage, and we're starting to win more and more awards every single quarter. Here's just a quick slide so you can see that no matter what industry that you're in, your company or your organization is in, you might be with a government agency, you might be with a school district, healthcare facility, retail, manufacturing. It really doesn't matter the vertical. Our software is being used by, like I said, it's over 1,400 customers around the world. And as far as our product lines go, these are our two product lines that we offer today. So I'll start on the right and go to the left. So on the storage side, that's what we're talking about today, SvSAN, simplifying storage at the edge and small data centers. So we're very focused on delivering lightweight software. You run it on any hardware, 2 server minimum. We can do a 3-node cluster as well, but 2 server minimum. We create a synchronous mirror between the 2 servers on top of just about any hypervisor, whether it's vSphere, Hyper-V, or OpenKVM. And now you've got synchronous storage where you can be assured that there's going to be uptime. If anything were to fail on any of the servers and a server comes offline, your VMs will migrate over to the other server and stay up and running. So we're really good at small site. That's our space. And we designed for that. We're designed for the edge. But there are customers that use us at edge. So retail customers that have thousands of sites, government customers that have hundreds of sites. But we're also really good for single site or 2 sites. We have small banks that use at a single site. We have SMBs that use us. The bottom line is the requirements are the same. Everyone wants uptime, performance, low cost, easy to manage, and that's what we're all about for SvSAN. On the security side, we entered the security market, like I said earlier this year, and we released a key management product for any environment. And the reason we went down this space is we kept getting feedback from our customers that they want to be able to protect data at the edge. So we have a lot of our customers, like I'm sure some of you on the phone here, on the call here, wanted to do encryption at the edge, which we enable with our storage, but wherever there's encryption, you need a key manager. So we felt like there was a big opportunity here to solve the same kind of problem. Simple software, easy to install, easy to manage, super low cost. So now from StoreMagic, you can get both storage software and encryption and the complementary key manager that's required to go with it. The added benefit that we've got on the security side is that our key management product is not just for edge. It can handle all of your key management needs throughout your entire organization. So we can protect applications in the cloud. We can protect applications that are running in a data center. It doesn't just have to be for the small edge locations. And there's plenty of information about key management on our website. Okay, so there's a quick StoreMagic overview. So let's talk about storage and what the new things that we have coming, or we've just announced, I should say. So first off, we announced that StoreMagic is now in the cloud business. And we're not trying to be Amazon, we're not trying to be Azure or Google Cloud. So that's why we're touting it as simplifying IT services that other clouds can't. And that's because we're focused on what our customers want from StoreMagic. We're trying to make your lives easier by finding ways to provide services in the cloud instead of having you building things on site. The first two offerings I'll talk about here in the next slide. The first two offerings, one is on the storage side, Witness as a Service, and one is on the security side, which is Key Management as a Service. But as I'm sure everyone on the call here knows, the benefit of procuring services from the cloud instead of building it yourselves is written on the left, right? It's so much less complexity for you. You can deploy services easier. You don't have to buy hardware and software and manage it and deal with the OpEx associated with that, running the servers, updating the servers, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone knows the benefits of cloud, and now StoreMagic has two offerings for you in the world of cloud. I'm going to talk a lot about Witness as a Service, but Key Management as a Service is all about being able to manage all of your keys in your enterprise without having to install software anywhere. So it's for any workload. It doesn't matter what you're trying to protect. It doesn't matter where the encryption is being done. It could be done at an edge site. It could be done in a data center. It could be a database. It could be a SaaS application like Salesforce. Anywhere encryption, anywhere that you have an application that has encryption, if you want to enable encryption, now you can get your keys from StoreMagic Cloud. So on the Key Management as a Service side, painless security for any encryption workload. Keys are always secure and accessible. So this is one of the benefits. Instead of building a 2 or 3 node key management cluster, which is what a lot of customers do, and there's good reasons to do it, we offer that software as well, which is called SvKMS. So you can decide you want the software, you can build it yourself and run it. But if you want to do it from the cloud, your keys are always secure and accessible. They're in the cloud. We've done a lot of architecting to make sure we've built in multi-level key security so you can be assured that your keys are safe in the cloud. And it's much easier to deploy this way. You're not having to provision VMs and hardware. We do all that for you in the cloud. So you're actually up and running and deployed in under 5 minutes. And we did a live demo of this a couple weeks ago, so some of you may have seen that. On the storage side, here's what we're doing with SvSAN. So first thing I'll say is, in order to have a highly available cluster, and we talk about uptime and 100% uptime, in order to have any highly available cluster, there needs to be either 3 servers locally, or there needs to be a remote witness. And the reason for that is what's called a quorum, right? If you only had two servers and one server were to go down, when that server comes back up, there's really high risk of what's called split brain and data corruption. Those two servers need to be able to coordinate between the two of them on how data is being written and stored and protected. So most of our competitors in this space require 3 servers at every edge site. If they don't require it, they highly recommend it. So clearly we know that there are others out there that have a remote witness, but for many reasons, most of them technical reasons, they try to get customers to do the 3 servers on site because their remote witness is in the data path in general, which means you need a pretty fast link. You need at least a gigabit connection to the remote witness. And the other thing that most competitors have for their remote witness is that it's a one-to-one relationship, which means if you have 5 sites, 2 servers per site, you need 5 remote witnesses, and you need to go find hardware to go run 5 remote witnesses on. In our world, our differentiation here is that our remote witness supports up to 1,000 sites. And the reason we're able to do that is because we're not in the data path. And the network connection required for our remote witness is only a 9 kilobit per second link. That's it. And that's like a 3G cell phone connection or a satellite connection, right? We have customers that are oil rigs and where they're out in the middle of the ocean and they can't have a connection, so they have a satellite connection that's more than 9 kilobit per second, and we can handle up to a 3-second or 3,000 millisecond, whichever you think of it, latency or delay, which is pretty much unheard of. So we've really designed for the edge and remote sites. It works great no matter where you are, and the fact is we can have 1,000 sites from a single remote witness as a virtual machine. So this whole thing about reducing costs by at least 33%, it's all about the fact that we don't require that 3rd server on every single site. And our remote witness is very lightweight and 1,000 to 1. So now on the deployment options is you can build it yourself. And that's what all of our customers have been doing this since the beginning of time. And that's free. So we include the remote witness software when you license SvSAN, and you would have to go figure out where to go run this witness. You can run it in a data center on a single VM in a VMware cluster. You can run it on on the same servers you're running vCenter on. You can run it on a PC. It doesn't matter where you run it. You can run it on something as small as a Raspberry Pi. Very, very lightweight, but there needs to be a remote witness running somewhere that you connect to if you build it yourself. What we've done now is we've released this witness as a service. So instead of saying, hey, here's some free software, go run it somewhere, we're saying, we'll do it for you. So we started this cloud service. It's available from StoreMagic. And all you need to do is set up your 2-node cluster and point to our cloud witness. And now you don't have to worry about running software, backing it up, servicing it, making sure the hardware is running, et cetera. We do all that for you from the cloud. And this is what Dan's going to demo for you here in a couple minutes. The next thing that we now support and we released is software RAID 10 or RAID 1 for edge servers. And some of you may be thinking, well, software RAID is nothing new, and it's not new. It's been around for quite a long time, but we haven't needed it in our space because most of our customers use hardware RAID cards. So in our typical configurations, our customer would deploy 2 servers, each of them with hardware RAID cards, and StoreMagic would virtualize the storage through and up to the hypervisor. The reason why we decided to add software RAID is that we got feedback from some of our edge customers that they're starting to deploy these edge-focused servers, like HPE EdgeLine, Lenovo SE350, that class of server that's smaller form factor, usually like the size of a dictionary kind of thing, right? Smaller form factor, and in a lot of cases, there's not room for a hardware RAID card, or potentially there's not enough power because these smaller servers typically have less power. So we got a lot of feedbacks like, hey, we still want to protect our disks from failure, because if you don't have a hardware RAID card and a drive fails, then the next level of protection is the whole server. So you'd have to deal with a server outage. Of course, with StoreMagic or in most other solutions, you would have another server in the cluster, et cetera. So you're protected, but who wants to go through a server failover if you don't have to? So that's why we came out with software RAID 10 to say, listen, if you just want to protect a couple of drives on your local edge server, you can now enable software RAID right from StoreMagic. We support RAID 1, which is strictly mirroring. That's if you have 2 drives, or if you have 4 drives, we can do a RAID 10, which is the diagram out to the right. And RAID 10 is basically just a mix of RAID 1 striped across 4 drives. You can see, so you do a RAID block by block. You would do block 1 would be mirrored between disk 1 and disk 2, and then the next block would be mirrored between disk 3 and disk 4, and it would rotate throughout that way. So RAID 10 has been around, but now we support it on SvSAN for our edge server customers. And then the last new thing from StoreMagic as far as features go is we've expanded our open KVM support. So up till now, we've supported the CentOS and Red Hat distributions of Linux KVM, and we just released support for Ubuntu. And again, that was due to customer feedback on what they're using. It seems like Ubuntu's got a big following out there, so we decided we needed to do that as well. So this slide, hopefully everyone on the call knows this, but we are indifferent to the hardware. So any server you want to use, as long as it's x86, any storage type, we're indifferent to the hardware, firmware levels, SSD, spinning disk, SATA, SAS, 7200 RPM, doesn't matter to us. So very flexible there. Very flexible on the hypervisor, obviously. vSphere, Hyper-V, Linux KVM. Now we have 3 flavors of that we support. And we also have multiple deployment options where you can build this yourself. You can get software from us and build a hyperconverged solution. You can buy a pre-configured appliance from one of our partners, like HPE, or from one of your channel partners as well. Or also build a storage-only SvSAN, and that basically means take 2 servers and don't run VMs on it for applications, just 2 beefy high performance servers with some storage, and use that as a SAN and then connect other physical servers to it. Okay, good. So Dan, while you grab control here, let me ask if anyone else has questions, please pop them in the Q&A. I do have one here that I'll answer right now. Now I just lost the question. Oh, there it is. Okay. Is software RAID only available with KVM hypervisor, also with VMware? Good question. Software RAID is a feature of our VSA, of our virtual storage appliance. So software RAID is available no matter what hypervisor you're using. So it is available on VMware, Hyper-V, or KVM. Thanks for the question. Another question here, could we say that StoreMagic was from SDS to HCI? Okay, I'm not 100% sure of the question, but I think I know what you're saying. So I think it's more about clarifying, did you move from SDS to HCI? And the way I'll answer that is I'll say those two are very related. So at the core of what StoreMagic does is we're software-defined storage on the storage side of the house, right? So SvSAN is a proper software-defined storage solution. So we are helping our customers create, manage, and store data locally through software, right? So that's what we do. But 90% of our use case, 90% of the time, our customers are building hyperconverged infrastructure with StoreMagic and let's say VMware or Hyper-V or KVM with a hypervisor bundled together in one solution that becomes a hyperconverged infrastructure. So the two terms are related. Hyperconverged is kind of the end solution that you would use as an end user, but below down below the scenes, you have software-defined storage, which we provide, and a hypervisor, which you would get from VMware, Microsoft, or OpenKVM. Thanks for the questions. I appreciate it. All right, Dan, I don't have any more questions, so let it rip.
All right, Bruce, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're coming across just fine.
Okay, perfect. So as Bruce had mentioned, we sit on top of a hypervisor. We provide a virtual storage appliance on top of those hypervisors. So it's very easy for us to manage storage. And one of the, as Bruce had mentioned already, one of the critical aspects of high availability is how do you ensure that the servers are being synchronized properly? And the concept of a quorum or a witness that would arbitrate who was the leader for the synchronization over one or the other came about, probably a decade ago. What's unique to us is our ability to support that in a very lightweight manner. That becomes important as we move into this cloud, but also that we can support from 1 to up to 1,000 sites. And as we introduce that early on, and the whole market began to emerge around cloud. It was a natural progression for our customers to ask us, hey, I'd love to deploy this in a cloud. And we developed the capability for our customers to deploy this into their private cloud. So if they had Google or Amazon or Azure, it was perfectly fine for us to have them deploy that witness in that cloud instance, but they were still managing it on a virtual machine in the cloud. Now, fast forward to today, and our customers began asking for more flexible products like subscription, which we recently introduced. They were also looking they were asking us, hey, we would love for you to manage these services like Witness as a service, key management as a service, in a cloud, in a StoreMagic cloud instance that would be managed by StoreMagic directly. And so adding all these services, again, was a natural product for us and for our customers. And what I'll demonstrate here today is really how easy it is to set up a cloud-based witness. And there are a couple of steps that we'll go through. So I have here in this configuration, I've already set up 2 VSAs on 2 separate servers in a clustered configuration. So I can see that, in this local demo here on ESX1, hopefully it refreshes here. There we go. I have 20 gig or 21 gig on each of those servers that I'm supporting, okay? So the first step that I need to do is to come into our web page, and we can see that we already have this VSA configured, VSA demo 1, which I demonstrated in the home page, is to add a witness to this configuration. Okay, I simply go to the Discovery tab. I see that this is here. I will add an entry. And the only difference here is I'll create a static entry. Now, during the order process, whether you're ordering SvSAN new or whether you're adding Witness as a service as an add-on to your existing SvSAN infrastructure, you'll simply do the same steps here to configure the witness. Now, one of the things that we'll do is we'll send you, that's what I was going at, we will send you a welcome message with all the proper credentials. So you'll purchase Witness as a service from StoreMagic. We'll return to you an email address or an email with the specific ID. Now, what we've done is we've set the IP address and the serial number for that instance in the StoreMagic cloud. So I will grab this IP address and plug it in here. First, I'll have to add a unique identifier, and I will call it Cloud Witness, and then the serial number itself, and apply. Now, what I've done is I've added a witness, associated witness called Cloud Witness to this VSA, to this virtual storage appliance that's sitting on one of the servers. Right. Now I'll do the same for this is VSA 2. This is VSA 1, so this is the other server, and I'll do the same thing here again. I'll add an entry, create a static entry. Which one did I? Cloud witness. I think I did this first, right? Yep. Here. Apply. All right. So we have that. Now what I'll do is I'll create a target. So actually a volume on one of these servers.
So Dan, at this point, I want to make sure I'm following. So so far you've gone to each VSA.
Right.
There's one VSA on each physical server.
Correct.
And you've pointed each of those VSAs to the same cloud witness.
Cloud witness, exactly right.
Okay.
So now, right, so now those servers have a third party in the mix to make the final decision. So if one server fails, the second server, the second VSA can reach out to that witness and say, hey, I'm not communicating with my brethren, my first server, what's going on? And the witness will communicate back, well, you're now the leader because I can't communicate to VSA 1. And then as VSA 1 comes up, the witness will instruct VSA 2, hey, listen, your other server's up. You can begin to synchronize information between the two. That's the whole concept. Right? So I'm going to create a target, and I'm just going to label it target 1. I'm going to just give it 1 gig in a mirrored state. And you can see that the cloud witness came up automatically in this instance, right? So I can create that. The action is finished. And you can see that it's in a resynchronization mode. So VSA2 is looking to the witness and saying, hey, what is going on here? I need to resynchronize who's the leader. VSA1 is the leader. So VSA2 says, thank you very much. Let me synchronize with that to ensure that there's compatibility between the two. We're done. And now if there's ever a failure on either side, those communicate to this cloud witness, which is now called TS Witness 1. Yeah, and everything works perfectly fine. And that's as simple as it is. So any of the errors that happen in the cloud, we take care of that. So for example, if the witness were to fail for some reason, there's actually two methods. We'll have a protected mode in the cloud, so it will automatically fail over, so the witness will have a secondary standby server or VM to manage or migrate to, so that witness is always up and running. And then if for some reason a link were to fail, we'd have our service personnel correct the problem and issue a service ticket to you to ensure that you understood that, the witness has failed, here the process we're going through to recover that witness. And that is pretty much everything that we need to do with the witness.
Cool, thanks, Dan. Good job.
All right.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I just had a closing slide for more information. You can go to our Witness as a Service webpage, our Key Management as a Service webpage. There's more information on Software RAID. And of course, you can contact sales at StoreMagic for any questions you have. Okay, there's one question here about, okay, there's a question about free trial. Where is it? Can I get a free trial license for Witness as a Service? And the answer is, we don't offer a free trial on the website for an automatic free trial, but we can work that out individually with you for sure. So if you're interested in trying this out for free, contact your sales rep, your channel partner. If you can't figure any of that out, if you're new to StoreMagic, just send an email to sales@storemagic.com and somebody will get back with you very, very quickly and get you set up. Next question. Are we able to utilize multiple witnesses for a cluster, such as cloud and on-site? Dan, do you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. They would have to be segregated, but you can run, now the witness will manage a set of clustered servers. So if it's in the cloud, they will be assigned a set of clustered servers and sites. But yeah, you can have an on-site that is segregated and separate. They would not be engaged simultaneously.
Yeah, Dan, I mean, tell me if I got this right. You wouldn't have a single cluster of 2 servers needs to have the same witness. So
Correct.
that would need to be either cloud or local.
Exactly.
But yeah, you can run a witness in the cloud and you can run one locally. They just can't be servicing the same 2 servers in a cluster.
Yeah, so for example, we have a customer with 5,000 sites. We can support up to 1,000 clusters. They have 5 separate witnesses in their data center to manage that entire environment.
Right. And they could have chosen for 1,000 of them do it from the cloud and for the other 4,000 do it local.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Hopefully that answers your question. All right, next question. I've got a couple more here. Is there a difference between the on-site version of the witness or the cloud version?
Absolutely the same. Absolutely the same. Just a matter of how you configure it and where you're pointing that witness to. And you saw in this demonstration, I just put an IP address that simply was our StoreMagic Cloud IP address. In a local configuration, you would point to an IP address that was provided by your IT administrator. But exactly the same process.
Right. Okay. Next, we got a bunch here, so I'm going to go quick. Next one is, in no particular order, is the software RAID feature available on the latest SvSAN license?
Yes,
so
it is.
Yeah, yeah, you would need the latest version of SvSAN, which is 6.2 update 3. Is that right, Dan?
Yes, correct.
So you would need 6.2 update 3, and you would get software RAID included for no extra charge. Next question. This is a good one. I'll throw it out there. StoreMagic SvSAN 6.2 is not supporting Server 2019 now. When is it due? Dan, you want me to grab it, or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead, grab it.
Okay. All right. So listen, this has been a hard one for us. There are lots of technical reasons which I won't walk through, but the net of it is Microsoft made some changes in how they handle HA and clustering at the storage level when they went from Server 2016 to 19. And all of the storage software players, not just StoreMagic, anyone that does this with Hyper-V is having the same issue. So we do support it. So we do support Server 2019, but we have a detailed technical sheet that you're going to need to implement. You're going to need to make some registry changes on the servers to make sure that there's some timers that we need to update. So it does work. We do support it, but it's just not out of the box. And we are working with Microsoft to try to fix that over time. And we don't have a committed date from Microsoft and when that's going to happen. But
exactly.
Yeah, get with your sales rep, your channel partner. There's documentation available on how to do it. It's not hard to do, but it is something that you would need to do to the server in order to make sure that the failover works in the right sequence. Thanks for that question. Dan, I want you to take this one. Is there a choice for geographic region where the witness as a service is hosted?
There is a choice. So we have multiple locations worldwide, all the major geographic areas that you could consider. So yeah, the witness can be deployed locally wherever you need it to be. And if a data center is not supported, there are partners that we can engage in for local access to the witness.
Right. Okay. Next question, how much does Witness as a Service cost? The answer to that is, it is a subscription and it would be a 1, 3, or 5 year. The 1 year I know is $810. So for $810 a year, you don't have to worry about running, installing, and managing Witness. We'll do it for you. Let's see. And okay, here's a question back to the KVM one. Can we move a VSA from vSphere to KVM? That's a really good question, and the answer is yes. So once you have a StoreMagic SvSAN license, that's that's yours to do what you need to do. So maybe you start off using it in a vSphere cluster, but then your company, your organization's transitioning to KVM. You can actually take that license. We would have to send you a new build that's for KVM, but you are still licensed to that software, and you can move it to KVM environment, or to Hyper-V for that matter. It's one of the other differentiators we have in the market, is that we're flexible and you can move that VSA, you can use it for whatever you want. While I'm talking about this, you can also move it between servers, right? When you refresh servers, you buy new ones, or if you want to decommission servers and move it to another location, we don't care. You own the license. As long as you're running it on a single server, that's up to you on where it is. I think those are all the questions. Let me just double check. I think we're good. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. So listen, thanks everyone for attending. We really appreciate it. You know where to find us, sales@storemagic.com, or contact your channel partner. I would love to talk more about any of the features we've had here. And we'll talk to everyone soon on the next webinar. Thanks for joining. And thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Good job.
All right. Thanks.